Greetings, family. I hope you're doing amazing, Soul family. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. It is Tuesday, January the 11th, so that's 111. And as you all know, the number 11 is a portal. And it also indicates that you're going like through a doorway from the old season, stepping into a new joyous reality. So 11 is a very magical number. I encourage you to look it up, what 11 is. So again, this is January the 11th or 111. Now we have some breaking news, family. Some of you may have already heard, but the National Guard has been deployed in 30 states. Yes, as of today, it's a total of 30 states that now have the National Guard deployed on the grounds. Do you all remember the last time the National Guard was deployed on the grounds? There was a state of emergency. That was when the pandemic had occurred. Also, it had happened after that situation happened with Mr. Floyd. And, I don't know what Antifa and BLM had released several people on the grounds. So you guys know something is up. We don't know what it is, but for 30 states to be basically have been declared a state of emergency, you know that something is going on. So I read through the list and I saw the 30 states. I didn't see the state of Florida yet, but I'm assuming that there may be the National Guard may be deployed in all 50 states. You can find that at nationalguard.military website, or you can also go to nationalguard.mil/the corona. I can't say the whole word. I mean, I can say it, but I might get a strike. So look at nationalguard.military, the website, or just Google 30 states has National Guard deployed on the ground. Family, we've been saying for a while that something was going to happen. You know, we've been knowing who the real president is, and we've been anticipating a possible emergency broadcast system announcement. So I would just say, just to be prepared, be proactive. Remember, we talked about proactivity being one of the principles in terms of how highly effective people operate and live their daily lives. So be proactive. Store up some food, some water, some toilet paper, supplies, flashlights, radios, batteries. You never know. I think I said toilet paper, anything, medicine, seeds, whatever. Because even if nothing serious is going on, people panic when they see military on the ground. Also, people have reported seeing helicopters and military helicopters flying in the air. I know by the beach, I've seen it happening for like in the last 60 days. I've seen a large amount of military planes fly overhead, and that's pretty commonplace because I live in northern Florida. We do have a military base here, but I just saw more planes than I had seen before in the air. So be prepared, be proactive. Proactive people plan ahead before a situation occurs, before something serious happens. Proactive people are very, very intentional in how they live their lives. Proactive people are highly effective people. They are people who tend to be successful, people who tend to understand and understand the importance of preparation and taking care of their family and community. So again, 30 states now have the National Guard deployed. Now, I've heard that this information has come from who is it? Kent Dunn, and Kent Dunn is one of my Facebook friends. I did not read it from his page, but I did hear from Dr. William Mount, and Dr. William Mount has his own YouTube channel and his own modes of communication, but he was once in the military. I believe he was in the Marine Corps and he served in the National Guard. So he has a tendency to stay updated on what's going on in the military arena and even in some geopolitical aspects. So family, be prepared. Again, 30 states have the National Guard deployed on the ground. And it's interesting, isn't that interesting that this is happening right now at a time when actually we were anticipating a State of the Union address from the man who's masquerading as the president right now. He was supposed to give a State of the Union address, but it was canceled until March 1st. Now, typically, presidents give a State of the Union address to Congress in January and at the latest the 1st of February. So why has he canceled it for March the 1st? Maybe he knows something serious is about to come online. Something is about to happen. What if the real president is going to make an emergency broadcast system announcement and they have to have military or National Guard on the ground because some people will become very upset and violent and aggressive because people as a whole has not learned how to keep their emotions in check. Now, I have been saying this for a long time. For one, I'm a public speaker, so I say that in terms of how you should operate as a human being who understands effective communication and how to conduct yourself and having integrity and being careful about your reputation. The last time we saw people seriously emotionally charged was when George Floyd was offended or harmed by the men in blue, allegedly. I don't know if that occurred. I don't know if it was staged. I don't know. I just think the guy looks a lot like that Stephen Jackson guy who they say was his twin. And then I know after that situation happened, they unleashed Antifa and BLM onto the country and they wreaked havoc. Now, some people were doing some people were doing so-called peaceful protests, but once Antifa and BLM got involved, it became mayhem. So National Guard was deployed on the ground then really to keep order because people were trashing the place, their cities, destroying ATMs and grocery stores and businesses, and it got out of hand. It was something the police could not handle. And as you all know, one of the things that the left did, or the Communist Party who took over the left did, was to launch this massive get rid of the police or defund the police campaign, which made it even more volatile on the streets. So people started antagonizing police officers. Then police officers started retiring and leaving their jobs because it became very unsafe for them. And then the National Guard had to take over. Be careful, friends and family members. So family, be mindful, keep your emotions in check. Stay indoors if possible, unless it's an emergency. Obey any laws that we might have or, any curfews, because what happened the last time we had the National Guard on the ground in 2020 was people did not obey and the curfew, and they got in the middle of crossfire when the National Guard and police were trying to arrest people. People were on the street and they got in the way. Some people got hit with bullets. Some people got hit with rubber pellets. So be mindful. It shouldn't be that hard to follow directives and to protect your family. Even though you're a sovereign being, you all know we are in the middle of a war. So be mindful how you conduct yourselves. Also protect yourselves. You know what that means. Be prepared to defend your Second Amendment right in case people go crazy and act a plumb nut because the National Guard is on the ground, or because we might have an emergency broadcast announcement where they let you know that we've been in the middle of the war. Now, I think it's interesting that the man who's masquerading as the president right now canceled his State of the Union address until March 1st, because it seems like something is going to happen between now and then. Also, it's important to note that the real president, Mr. T, or President T, is launching Truth Social, his own social media platform, in February. So we're in January. The fake president was supposed to give a State of the Union address. It's been put off till March, but we're in January. That State of the Union address has been put off till March. February is the launch of Truth Social. And I just find that very fascinating. Additionally, you know that the real president was supposed to give a speech on January the 6th, but he canceled that or postponed that to January the 15th. And that actually is this Saturday. And some people are saying it's going to be the concert of the dead. Allegedly, a lot of people who had reportedly died, a lot of entertainers and athletes who reportedly died, who were actually in some type of protection program, may come out and may be at that concert or speech. I don't know if that's true or not, but I am telling you that Mr. T's speech was canceled from January the 6th or postponed until January the 15th. So be on the lookout. So much is happening. I'm actually glad he didn't do a speech on January the 6th because they made it a big deal. They call it Insurrection Day because of what happened at the Capitol. And they tried to blame it on patriots and Mr. T supporters, but we all know that those were crisis actors and BLM and Antifa pretending to be Trump supporters. You could tell it was a bunch of crisis actors. I don't even know how anybody believed that because there were a lot of police officers who were actually there who just stood by and allowed people to run through the buildings and confiscate laptops and scare politicians, whatever. I've never seen a situation like that where there was an insurrection and the police just stood by quietly, calmly, and allowed it to happen. Nope. I mean, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. And the old people used to say, you got to get up early in the morning to fool me, or even to try to fool me. So they haven't fooled us. We know what's going on. The real president is coming back. We've been saying it for a long time. We told people even before the whole Floyd situation happened that there was going to be an emergency broadcasting system announcement or some type of announcement then, that there would be a Black Swan event because they were going to have mass arrests. And they did. They arrested a lot of people who were actually involved in nefarious activities. And this brings me to my final point. We've had a lot of deaths with celebrities in the last 2 years. Now, we know that there was a notable resignation list, I think that was circulating in 2017. And we had it, but it was a link that was connected to a website that has since been taken down. Why was this notable resignation list important? Because it consisted of bankers, politicians, congressmen, congresswomen, people in high offices in government, entertainers, athletes who were involved in crimes against humanity, in nefarious activities. So it was important to know that that list existed because what happened was some of those people were forced to resign and then they were shipped off to Guantanamo Bay. And we know that because we were able to see military tribunals at c-vine.com, I think it was, or it might have been .net. But we actually saw some of those military tribunals, and even though people didn't believe us, I mean, it was right there. You can go online right now and see that military tribunals are taking place. So we also saw presidents and different people at a funeral. Was it George Herbert George Bush's funeral? I think it was. They had shown how people were receiving notices, and when they opened the notices, you could see their faces were shocked and appalled. Well, many people said those notices were actually services or notices of being served, that they were to show up for tribunals. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but we do know that that occurred a couple of years ago. In addition to that, we've seen a lot of actors and actresses, athletes actually die. Most recently was Betty White, who they call Snow White, who they said was the queen of comedy. Now, I told you all that the queen's death was a marker that the war was over and that our financial funds would soon be released. Do you remember that? So we didn't know which queen it would be, but we do know that the one who calls herself the queen of comedy died. She's Snow White. Also, she's the sister, allegedly, of Barbara Bush. And some say that both she and Barbara Bush are actually men. I don't know. But, I mean, we're not shocked. And they're also allegedly the daughters of Aleister Crowley, who was the most wicked man in the world. That's what he was called. He was the man who created this mantra, do as thou wilt. And that was the mantra that the Church of Satan and those Satan worshipers and Baphomet worshipers and Molech worshipers supported. These are also people who committed crimes against humanity and crimes against children. Oh my God. Can you all remember when Jay-Z had a shirt that said, do as thou wilt on it? Yeah, he was a friend allegedly of that Bronovich woman who was a Marina Bronovich, who had paintings of blood and who allegedly was involved in doing things to our children. So not only was Betty White recently publicized as being deceased, but so was Bob Saget. And I saw all through over social media timelines, people like, oh my God, I just loved him. He was a wonderful comedian. He was this great actor of Full House. Well, Bob Saget was a confessed P-word, pedo person. You can hear him cracking jokes about doing harmful, heinous, atrocious things to our offspring. And people love this guy. Like, this is why we were taught in the church and in different traditions and even in the family, do not have idols. Not only is he a confessed P-word, having harmed children, but if you look it up, look at YouTube and type in Bob Saget is a bad guy. You see all of his colleagues actually roasting him and laughing and joking about how he has done heinous things to children. I'm talking about things that are beyond the imagination to children. They're laughing and joking about it for at least an hour. It is atrocious. The man was a psychopath, a sociopath. He harmed children and he probably was executed. The only house that I know that's full right now is the one that they call Gitmo at Guantanamo Bay with the likes of Bob Saget, who harmed our children. He and a lot of other politicians who died and athletes and entertainers who died, if they are not in the witness protection program because they're working with the white hats, then they are actually being judged right now at Guantanamo Bay for harming our children and being involved in trafficking. Also keep in mind that the real president had created an executive order 13818. Remember that? That confiscated the assets of people who were involved in crimes against humanity, in child, things against our children, and in drug activity. So that executive order confiscated their assets, and I guess the assets went to the government. I don't know, but I do know that we're about to see a massive transference of wealth. I do know that it's our time and this war is over and we're about to hear a wonderful announcement. So be ready, be prepared, get you some silver, because we're going to also see our monetary system transfer over from fiat to silver and gold backed. Some banks have already reported that the new currency, the rainbow currency that we've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 years, is finally in the banks. It finally has been released in the banks. So this is good news, family. But remember, be mindful, be proactive, be prepared. Gather your family, and maybe we're about to hear a wonderful announcement that the real president is coming back. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I love you. Keep your vibrations high, stay encouraged, and know that our time has come. We've been talking about this for a long time, and now it's finally here. Please keep your emotions in check. Please know that a black swan event or a false flag event could happen to kick off whatever it is that they want us to be prepared for. Probably the emergency broadcast system announcement. So you know that in every war that the other side, the bad side, never gives up, right? So they're gonna probably launch some type of attack. So be safe, be whole, keep your emotions in check. I think that's all I have to say today. I love you. Time to start dinner. Mwah. I never know where to look in the camera. Take care, family. Peace.